It's almost time for the Spider-Man Universes Beyond pre-release. I am beyond excited for this, no pun intended. In this video, I'm going to run through review the archetypes, mechanics, best cards of each rarity, best disruption pieces to set you up for your pre-release. Alongside that, we're going to do a cheeky little deck build. Thank you to Wizards of the Coast for sending this out early so I can get this done for you guys. Now, if you've never done a pre-release before, this is the best way to get into Magic. You get your pre-release kit, you get 6 packs, a spin down die and a promo card. And then from those 6 packs, you build a 40 card deck to get used to the set and to Magic. So let's break down what you need to know. There are 2 new mechanics and 2 returning mechanics. The new mechanics are Mayhem and Web Slinging. Mayhem is an ability that allows you to cast a card from your graveyard, usually for a reduced cost, as long as you've discarded that card the same turn. It's a powerful mechanic that can turn the downside of discarding into a huge win condition. Web Slinging sounds fun, and it is fun. Web Slinging is an alternative casting cost for creatures. It works by returning a tapped creature back to your hand, allowing you to pay the cheaper Web Slinging cost for the creature you want to cast. Being able to bounce creatures back to your hand is an extremely valuable ability in any format. The 2 returning mechanics are Modified Creatures and Connive. Modified Creatures, modified with equipment, auras and counters. They also get an additional ability when this happens, and some cards care about modified creatures as well, giving them buffs and other abilities for having a modified creature. The Connive mechanic is also showing up. When a creature connives, you get to draw a card and discard a card. If you discard a non-land card, you get a +1/+1 counter on the creature that connives. This works really well with discard and draw synergies, like Mayhem, and also counters and modified creatures. With Spider-Man being a slightly smaller set for this pre-release, there are only 5 archetypes, but they are great. First up, we have blue-white modifications. Use counters, auras, and equipment to your advantage. In blue-black, we've got Connive. That gets you value from your graveyard and benefits from conniving. In black-red, we have Mayhem. Discard cards, play them from your graveyard, and use your advantage to take the win. In red-green, we've got large spells. Cast big spells with ease and make your opponents pay. And in green-white, we have Web Slinging. Bounce and cast for less for the unique Web Slinging benefits. Now let's look at the best card for each rarity in every colour. In white, for common, we have Spider-Man Web Slinger, a 3-mana 3/3, but can be cast for its Web Slinging cost of just 1 mana. It's simple, sweet, and can be cast for less. For uncommon, we have Silver Sable Mercenary Leader, a 3-mana 2/3 that when it enters, puts a +1/+1 counter on another target creature, and whenever Silver Sable attacks, target modified creature gets lifelink until end of turn. This is a great way to swing the life totals in your favour. For rare, we have Spectacular Spider-Man, a 2-mana 3/2 with some really great abilities for pre-release. It has flash, so it can be kept at bay until needed. You can pay 1 to give Spectacular Spider-Man flying until end of turn, or you can pay 1 and sacrifice Spectacular Spider-Man to give creatures you control hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. For Mythic, we've got the one and only Peter Parker. Whilst it can be flipped, a 2-mana 0/1 that creates a 2/1 when it enters is a nifty little ability, and if you do manage to transform Peter, well, then it's game over for your opponents. In blue, for common, we've got Beetle Legacy Criminal, a 4-mana 3/3 with flying. But if you manage to get it in your graveyard through conniving, mayhem, or it dying on the battlefield, you can pay 1 and a blue to exile it from your graveyard to give another creature +1/+1, and that creature will also gain flying until end of turn. A solid evasive creature on the field and a buff trick in the graveyard. For uncommon, we've got Spider Bite Web Warden, a 3-mana 2/2 that when it enters bounces a creature back to its owner's hand, solid disruption on a 2/2 body. In rare, we've got Mysterio Master of Illusion, a 4-mana 3/3 that when it enters creates a 3/3 blue illusion villain for each non-token villain you control. The only downside is they get exiled when Mysterio leaves the battlefield. And for Mythic, we've got Norman Osborn, a 2-mana 1/1 that can't be blocked, and whenever they deal combat damage to a player, they connive. You can pay 1 and Grixis to transform him into Green Goblin, but honestly, for pre-release, you won't need to. In black, for common, we have Venomized Cat, a 3-mana 2/3 with Death Touch, so great evasion already, and then when it enters, you mill 2 cards. Great for graveyard play. For uncommon, we've got Tombstone, Career Criminal. A 3-mana 2/2, when it enters, you can return target villain from your graveyard to your hand and reduces the cost of all villains by 1. For rare, we have Maul, Devourer of Spiders, an X black 2/1 with lifelink that enters with +1/+1 counters on him equal to the X cost paid, and when he enters deals X damage to target opponent. An opportunity to bolt your opponent for 5 mana and get a creature with worthwhile power and toughness, even if you tap it out to cast it. And in Mythic, we've got Eddie Brock, a 3-mana 3/3. When he enters, you can return a creature with mana value 1 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, and if you flip it, turns into a ridiculous sacrifice outlet. In red, for common, we have Masked Meower, a 1-mana 1/1 with haste and lets you discard a card and sacrifice it to draw a card. It plays right into the Mayhem ability. For uncommon, we've got Raging Goblinoids, a 5-mana 5/4 with haste and a Mayhem cost of just 3 mana. Great for the standard casting cost, but downright insane for 3 mana. In rare, we have Spinneret and Spiderling, a 1-mana 1/2 that gets a +1/+1 counter every time you attack with 2 spiders. And when they deal 4 or more damage, you get to exile the top card of your library and play it until the end of your next turn. In Mythic, we have Gwen Stacy, not the most powerful Mythic in the set, but a 2-mana 2/1 that lets you exile the top card of your library and lets you play it for as long as you control Gwen Stacy is perfectly fine. In green, for commons, we have Spiderman, Brooklyn Visionary, a 5-mana 4/3 with a web slinging cost of just 3 mana, and when it enters, you get to tutor a basic land to the battlefield tapped. For uncommons, we have Spider-Man, Heroic Horde, a 2-mana 2/3 is a great. For uncommons, we have Spider-Man Heroic Horde. A 2-mana 2/3 is great, and it has a unique swing on the web slinging ability. You can web sling it for 6 mana, and if you do, when it enters, you gain 3 life and create 2 2/1 green spider tokens with reach. For rare, we have Sandman, Shifting Scoundrel, a 3-mana with power and toughness equal to the amount of lands you control, and he can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, which jumps around chump blocking. And when he's in the graveyard, you can pay 3 and 2 green to return Sandman and a land to the battlefield tapped. For the multicolour cards, here are my favourite. In common, we have Gallant Citizen, a 2-mana either white or green 1/1 that draws a card when it enters. In uncommon, we have Morbius, the Living Vampire, a 4-mana blue-black 3/1 with flying, vigilance, and lifelink. And you can pay blue-black, exile it from your graveyard to look at the top 3 cards in your library, put 1 in your hand and the rest on the bottom. A great evasive creature, then an amazing payoff in the graveyard. For rare, we have Silkweb Weaver, a 4-mana green-white 3/5 with web slinging for 1 green-white. Then, whenever you cast a creature spell, which you'll do a lot in pre-release, you get a 1/1 green and white human token, and then you can pay 5 to give creatures you control +2/+2 and vigilance until end of turn. And for Mythic, I've got to go with Mr. Negative, a 7-mana white-black 5/5 with vigilance and lifelink. When he enters, you may exchange life totals with a target opponent, and if you lose life, you draw that many cards. But if you're losing, this can win you the game. Swap life totals with your opponent, have them on the low end, and now you've got a 5/5 with Vigilant and lifelink they have to deal with. Now let's look at the best disruption pieces for each colour. In white, we've got Web Up, a 3-mana enchantment that exiles target non-land permanent until it leaves the battlefield. A classic staple in pre-release. In blue, we've got Whoosh, a 2-mana bounce spell, but you can kick it for 2 more mana to draw a card. Instant card draw is underrated in my books. In black, we've got Spot's Portal, a 3-mana instant that puts target creature on the bottom of its owner's library, and you lose 2 life unless you control a villain. But if you're playing black, you will control a villain. In red, we've got Electro's Bolt, a 3-mana sorcery that deals 4 damage to target creature, but it has a Mayhem cost of just 2 mana. 2 mana to deal 4 damage is crazy, especially since it gets over the 3 toughness hill we see a lot in pre-releases. And in green, we've got Terrific Team Up, a 3-mana instant that can cost just 1 green if you have a creature with mana value 4 or greater on the board. It gives 1 or 2 creatures you control +1/+0 until end of turn. Then they each deal damage equal to their power to target creature an opponent controls. This is a great way for your little guys to take out a bigger threat together. Just a quick tip about the rare removal Spider Sense. While Spider Sense is a great card for most formats, it may even become a staple in Commander. You won't be faced with people casting lots of spells in this format, as it's primarily a creature-focused format, so it won't be overly used in pre-release. We've now covered all the basics you need to know for pre-release. Let's get to building the deck. Before we get into it though, thank you again Wizards of the Coast for sending this out to me. And as well, if you've enjoyed this video, do all the things the YouTube algorithm loves. Like, share, subscribe, follow me on my other platforms, and let me know down in the comments what commander you want to build the most from this set. For a pre-release deck, you want to have 17 lands, between 15 to 17 creatures, and between 6 to 8 other spells, usually disruption. You'll also want to check the curve of your deck, but we'll get to that in a moment. I'm going to run through opening these packs. I like to open them up, sort them by color, and also separate them into creatures and spells. Now that we've opened up all the packs, I've just rearranged them, sorted them into the colors. It's time to go through and see what stands out the most. Check what colors you're stronger in and try to narrow it down to 2 colors. You can splash a third, but it makes things a little harder. Luckily, with Spider-Man, there are lots of dual color cards like this one, which does a blue and a black. You got blue and white. My promo card was a blue and a green. So it makes things a little bit easier without needing to splash. So after going through the colors whilst I was reorganizing them, I really like Silk Weaver. So Silk Web Weaver. This is a 4-mana 3/5. You can web sling it for 1 green white, and whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 1/1 green and white human creature token. This is a very nice little card. Another one that is great is Rhino Barreling Brute. However, I don't think I will get to that much mana. I like playing a little bit quicker, and then also you get to draw a card whenever you've cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater. This one for me is very expensive. Probably won't play that one. However, my promo card, Cheering Crowd. Yes, this can help your opponent, but it speeds up the game, and I am all for that. I love fast, hard-hitting games. I like this one as well. I'm probably going to put this in a deck if I can. So that's amazing. Another great card that is in here is, I've got 2 of them as well, which is Black Cat Cunning Thief. So this is a 5 mana. When it enters, look at the top 9 cards of target opponent's library, exile 2 of them face down, put the rest on the bottom of their library in a random order, and you can play those exiled cards for as long as they remain exiled using mana of any type. The only issue is, the rest of my black, it's not strong in creatures at all. I have 1 nice removal spell, Scorpion Sting. Others aren't too great for sealed. So I don't know whether it's worth splashing into black, especially for a double pip creature. So unfortunately, as awesome as that is, I don't think it's strong enough. In red, the best thing I've got here is Shocker Unshakable. It's a 6-mana double red pip again. During my turn, Shocker has first strike, he's a 5/5, and then when he enters, he deals 2 damage to target creature and 2 damage to that controller. It's great, but the rest of my red, again, although I have got 2 Mask Meowers, they are great cards. I just don't think my Mayhem and discard is strong enough, unfortunately, especially with the removal. So I've only got Shock and Rendezvous. Shock is great. Rendezvous does play into the discard, however, I like playing a bit more disruption than that. In blue, we've got lots of Dr. Octopuses. So we've got 3 Dr. Octopuses. That's interesting. We've also got Spiderbite Web Warden. This is great. So it enters, bounces a creature to its owner's hand. That's a perfect little card. We've also got Spider-Woman Stunning Savior. So this is a 2-mana 2/2 with flying, and artifacts and creatures your opponent control enter tapped. That's a really good one. It can be used for blue, but my disruption seems a lot stronger in white. So green is interesting. We can use my promo card because it's a red or a green mana. We've also got Spider-Man Heroic Horde, a 2-mana 2/3, which is great on its own, has web slinging for 6 mana. When Spider-Man enters, if they were cast using web slinging, you gain 3 life and create 2/1 green spider creature tokens with reach. That is really good. Another nice little green card that we have, where it's green and white, is Gallant Citizen, a 2-mana 1/1. When it enters, you draw a card. That's a great little feature, especially because you can return it with web slinging, cast it again, draw a card. It's a nice little engine piece there. And then as well, Spider Woman will work in that one because we're using white. So I think I'm gonna go for green and white. We've also got in here the tap lands, Suburban Sanctuary. We've got 2 of them. We got a Vibrant Landscape, and we did get the Multiversal Passage. So this is great fixing in my opinion. 4 cards that fix, perfect, even if 2 of them enter tapped. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go for white green. So we'll keep these 4 lands. We don't need the Savage Mountain. Just remember, with the pre-release event, you are against the clock, so take your time, and if you think the color combination isn't working, you can swap a color or splash a third, but really take your time in this decision first, and it saves you a lot of time at the end. So let's get all of our green and white cards together, and then we can start going through everything else. So we've got our bases of our deck here. So let's go through on here. So you've got our creatures up the top and our disruption cards at the bottom here. So now we've got all of our cards together. I'm going to go through the disruption first. The reason I do this is that you won't be casting these spells on curve, so it's not as important. Then we can focus on our creatures and our curve. So a few that stood out to me. Spectacular Tactics is great. It's a 2 mana with an option. You can put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature. It gains hexproof until end of turn, or you can destroy a target creature with power 4 or greater. This is a great little one. We've also got Web Up, which I mentioned in the guide. Web Up is great. 3 mana, when it enters, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until this enchantment leaves the battlefield. There's not loads of enchantment removal, so this is perfect. Alongside that in white, we've got Thwip. I might just like saying the name. It's a great little combat trick. A +2/+2 and flying, and then sudden strike as well. So that's 2 nice little combat tricks, which is perfect. So we'll definitely have those. Then in here, Web of Life and Destiny is great in a larger deck, in a larger format. It's not too good for pre-release. It's not, by the time I've got to 8 mana, if I'm not winning the game or the game's not progressing quickly, this isn't going to be good. Wall Crawl is a lovely little enchantment. 4 mana, when it enters, you create a 2/1 spider token with reach, and then you gain 1 life for each spider creature you control. And then spiders you control get +1/+1 and can't be blocked by creatures with defender. So that's awesome. We've also got, so Grow Extra Arms is a nice combat trick, but we've got enough combat tricks already, and this one is sort of situational. We might not always want to do it on a spider. Scout the City is great, a 2 mana sorcery. You can mill 3 cards, put a permanent card from among them into your hand, and then you gain 3 life, another little life gain option. And then you've also got the option to destroy target creature with flying. This one's probably my favorite. For 1 green mana in this instance, because I'll be playing green, target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn. It fights target creature and opponent controls. When excess damage is dealt to the creature and opponent controls this way, you destroy up to 1 target non-creature artifact with mana value 3 or less. We've got 7 cards for our removal, which is fine. All the options in the colorless cards, I'll be honest with you, none of them really stood out to me. You've got Spider Suit, which is great, but it seems like green and white is a bit more aggro. This will slow down your tempo on here. So 1 mana equip, 3 costs, gives it 2/2, and it turns it into a spider hero, but it's not too good. The only other one would be Spider Slayer. When Spider Slayer deals damage to a spider, destroy that creature. So I might keep this in my sideboard because it's colorless. If I go up against another spider deck, I'll swap this in for something else. But for now, there's not really anything in the colorless that would play with my plan. Let's get our creatures sorted now. So we're going to arrange them by mana value. So I won't pay attention to the web slinging abilities yet, just because this is the curve. I want to be playing on curve, and if I can web sling, then that just speeds me up. I don't want to count that as the curve. So we'll go through by mana value. Silver Sable, Mercenary Leader, another great little card, to be honest with you. When it enters, +1/+1 counter on another creature, and then the modified creature can get lifelink when it attacks. So we'll look at these as they are. So Spider-Man, Brooklyn Visionary, we've got 2 of those. That's a brilliant card. They pair well together. You literally just swing in, web sling, get a basic land, swing in, web sling, get a basic land. It's a great little combination piece there. And the fact that I've got 2 of them so they work together is brilliant. So to keep popping these in. Guy in a chair is also good for mana fixing. Obviously cheering crowd, I love the fact it speeds up the game. Skyward Spider, when that's modified, it has flying. It's a 2 mana 2/2 with ward 2. That's just ridiculous. Obviously we've got my favorite there, Silk Web Weaver, Gallant Citizen again, and then Spider Woman. So our curve as it stands at the moment is kind of okay, but we've got too many creatures here. So we've got 7 spells, which is fine. The ideal number of creatures and spells you want is 23 because you want to run 17 lands. So we've got 4 lands already. I'll probably just do an even split of plains and forests. So that's sorted out. So now we need to cut some cards. So how many have we got total? So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So we need to cut 2 cards. It's quite nice. Our high end, definitely. So Starling Aerial Ally, 5 mana, flying. When it enters, another creature gains flying until end of turn. It's a 5 mana 3/4 with flying. It has evasion, it does buff, but it's not got a reliable way to keep casting it, and it's expensive. So I'll probably cut this one. As well, a few of these cards pair quite well together. So obviously the Silk Web Weaver will go nicely with anything with web slinging, because you've got the option there to constantly cast creatures, which is really nice as they replenish your hand. These 2, I really want to keep Spider Woman in here. That's a great little slowdown piece. Skyward Spider and Silver Sable Mercenary work really nicely together. So cast this, modify it, now this has flying. And the next turn it will have flying and lifelink, and it's a 3/3, which is perfect. So I definitely want to keep those in here. Guy in the chair, mana fixing, and in the late game I can put a +1/+1 counter on a creature. Gallant Citizen, 2 mana, 1/1, draw a card. Keeping that. It's always good to replenish your hand. Flash Thompson, you've got on here an option when it enters. It has flash, it's 2 mana 2/2, and then you can tap a creature or untap a creature. That's a great little combat trick, or just to help you survive a turn of attacks. So I definitely want to keep them. Cheering Crowd, I've already said I want to keep. So we've got a nice little curve of 2s. We've got 6 2s, which is nice. We've then got, so Lurking Lizards. To be fair, whenever you cast a spell with mana value 4 or greater, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. It has trample, so 2 mana 1/3. How often I'll be reliably casting a spell that's that cost or more is only going to be in this end. 3 of them have web slinging, so I could do the rotation and do that, but that's quite niche and I want to make it quite quick. So I think this might be the last cut. I didn't mention this because I think this should just be obvious, but Aunt May, a 1 mana 0/2, great for blocking early on, and then whenever a creature you control enters, gain a life, and if it's a spider, modify it. So again, works well with Silver Sable Mercenary, works well with Skyward Spider. It's a brilliant little piece in there. I think this is our deck. It almost built itself, but it's still good to run through and know what's going on with it. So our curve, as you can see, we've got 1 1-drop, 6 2-drops, 4 3-drops, 3 4-drops, 2 5-drops. But I can almost guarantee these will never be cast for 5 mana. These will be web slung in each time because it's ramp. It's brilliant, helps you get ahead. That's a perfect little combination. Every time you're doing it, you'll get a +1/+1 green and white human creature token. Damage control crew and bugle reporters. This returns a card with mana value 4 or greater to the graveyard to the hand, which is great if these go. And then I can also choose to exile a target artifact. This one also has a couple of enters abilities, so I can put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 creatures, or return target creature card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. So with these 2 cards, I can basically bring back every single card in my deck apart from these. Wild Pack, this is a great one to be fair as well. It gives first strike and vigilance to a creature at the beginning of combat. Obviously, Spider-Man Web Slinger, 3 mana 3/3, but the web slinging for 1. Guy in the chair's mana fixing and can buff, and then obviously the Silver Sable. So I have protection for this board, apart from these, which is fine. these can work without them. They're just little extras. So I'm really happy with how this deck would work. Like I say, we've got our 4 cards for fixing, and I would probably sway more. I'll probably have 1 more plains than I would a forest. And I think that's my deck. Yeah, I'm almost gutted I can't play this at a pre-release event. This is really nice. It's quite a nice curve on removal as well, to be fair. Not that that would matter too much, but we've got a 1 mana, we've got 2 1 mana spells, we've got 3 2 mana spells, a 3 mana spell, and a 4 mana spell. So that is a nice curve for that as well. So that's the deck. The list is available on my Moxfield, link in the bio. And if you liked the video, please subscribe, follow me on my other socials, and don't forget to comment down below. Thank you for watching.